There's a particular kind of quiet that settles over a home when a dog is nearing the end. You notice it before you have words for it. The way they move through the house differently. The way they look at you, longer, steadier, with something in their eyes you haven't quite seen before. And if you've been through this, you know exactly what I'm describing. Most of us are not prepared for it. Nobody teaches you how to read what your dog is communicating in those final days. Nobody tells you that what looks like withdrawal might actually be a form of closeness. That what looks like confusion might be something much more intentional. Today we're going to talk about it, not to make it harder, but to make it clear. Because understanding what your dog is experiencing and expressing at the end of their life is one of the most important things you can do for them and for yourself. Welcome back. This channel exists to help you understand your dog more deeply, and that means we have to go to the hard places too. If you are going through this right now, this video is for you. What the body does and why behavior changes. Before we can understand what a dog is communicating at the end of life, we need to understand what is happening physically, because the psychological changes and the physical ones are inseparable. As a dog's body begins to fail, whether through age, illness, or organ decline, the brain receives less oxygen-rich blood. Neurological function slows. The sensory world the dog has navigated their whole life begins to dim. Hearing, vision, and smell, the three pillars of how a dog experiences reality, all become less sharp. What this produces behaviorally is often mistaken for confusion or cognitive decline, and sometimes it is. Canine cognitive dysfunction, the dog equivalent of dementia, does affect a significant proportion of senior dogs. But not every behavioral change in a dying dog is cognitive deterioration. Some of it is the nervous system quieting. Some of it is the body conserving its remaining resources. And some of it, and this is the part that matters most, is the dog adapting their communication to what they are now capable of. They cannot run to greet you anymore, so they watch you from where they lie. They cannot follow you room to room, so they track you with their eyes. The expression of attachment does not disappear. It scales down to what the body can still do. The withdrawal that isn't withdrawal. One of the most commonly reported and most misunderstood behaviors in dying dogs is what looks like social withdrawal. They move to quieter areas of the home. They stop seeking interaction the way they used to. They spend long stretches simply lying still, eyes open, not asking for anything. Many owners interpret this as the dog pulling away, distancing, and it causes real grief, the feeling that the dog is already leaving before they've left. But behavioral researchers offer a different reading. Dr. Barbara Natterson Horowitz, a cardiologist and evolutionary biologist who has studied end-of-life behavior across species, notes that withdrawal in dying animals is not primarily social in nature. It is physiological conservation. The body is redirecting its remaining energy away from activity and toward basic maintenance. The dog is not choosing to be away from you. They are choosing stillness, and stillness happens to require less proximity. The distinction matters enormously, because when you understand that the quiet is not rejection, you can meet it differently. You can sit with them in the stillness. You can let their version of closeness be enough, and often, if you watch carefully, the withdrawal is not total. The dog who has moved to a quieter corner will still orient toward you when you enter the room, will still lift their head, will still track your movement. The connection is still there, it has just become quieter than it used to be. Heightened closeness, the other side of the coin. While some dogs move toward withdrawal in their final days, others move in the opposite direction entirely. And this pattern is equally important to understand. Some dogs become intensely, almost urgently close in their final days. They want to be touching you constantly. They follow you, slowly, effortfully, from room to room. They rest their head on you and hold eye contact for long, still moments. Behaviorists describe this as proximity-seeking escalation, and while it can feel like anxiety, and sometimes does carry an anxious quality, it is most often understood as a deepening of attachment behavior at the time when attachment is most needed. Think about what the dog's nervous system is experiencing. The world is becoming less clear. Sensory input is diminishing. The things that once oriented them, smells, sounds, the familiar texture of daily routine, are all becoming less reliable. In that context, you become their primary anchor to reality, your scent, your voice, the warmth of your body. These are the things that still register clearly when so much else is fading. The dog pressing against you in their final days is not being needy. They are navigating a frightening and disorienting experience by staying close to the one thing that still makes complete sense to them. You are their landmark, and they are holding on. The long look. What eye contact means at the end. Almost every owner who has been through this mentions it. That look. Not the bright, alert, expectant look of a healthy dog, waiting for a walk. Something different, longer, softer. A gaze that lingers past the point where it usually would. Oxytocin research has given us something meaningful here. A 2015 study published in Science found that mutual gaze between dogs and their owners triggers a surge in oxytocin in both species, the same neurochemical that drives human mother-infant bonding. Extended eye contact is not passive for a dog, it is an active biochemical event. In the final days, when a dog holds your gaze for long, quiet moments, they are not simply looking at you, they are experiencing a neurochemical connection with you, one that is calming, bonding, and deeply rooted in the attachment system. Some researchers believe this extended gazing in dying dogs is one of the most direct expressions of what the dog is communicating. Not distress, not confusion, closeness, gratitude in whatever form a dog is capable of experiencing it, a resting in the relationship that has defined their life. If your dog holds your gaze in their final days, hold it back. That exchange is real, it is mutual, and it is one of the most profound forms of communication available between two different species. How dogs process what is happening. Here is a question that owners ask quietly, usually only to themselves. Does my dog know? The honest answer from behavioral science is nuanced. Dogs almost certainly do not have a conceptual understanding of death the way humans do. They do not narrate their own mortality. They do not experience anticipatory grief in the cognitive sense, but they are exquisitely sensitive to what is happening in their body. They register the reduction in energy, the physical discomfort, the narrowing of their world, and they are extraordinarily attuned to the emotional state of the people around them. Dogs read us constantly. They process our facial expressions, our vocal tone, our cortisol levels, our posture, and when the people they love begin to carry grief, the particular weight that settles on a household when a dog is dying, they feel it, they respond to it. This means the dying dog is not only processing their own physical experience, they are also holding the emotional field of the humans around them. And many behaviors believe this is part of why some dogs seem to actively comfort their owners in their final days, remaining calm, resting against them, maintaining gentle contact, even when the dog is the one who is suffering. They are reading your grief, and they are responding to it the only way they know how. What your dog needs from you in this time. Understanding is one thing, knowing what to do with it is another. Be present without pressure. The dying dog does not need stimulation or activity. They need your calm, unhurried presence. Sit with them. Let silence be enough. The quality of your attention matters more than anything you do with it. Follow their lead on contact. Some dogs want to be held and touched constantly in their final days. Others are in enough physical discomfort that touch is overwhelming. Watch them. If they lean into contact, give it. If they shift away, give them space and stay near. Presence without imposition is the goal. Speak to them normally. Research consistently shows that dogs respond to the emotional tone of their owner's voice even when the words mean nothing. Your voice is a regulating force for them. Talking to them gently, even if it feels strange, even if they seem not to be listening, matters physiologically. It lowers their heart rate. It signals safety. Keep talking. Protect the sensory environment. Loud sounds, disruption, unfamiliar people, chaotic energy, all of these are harder to process for a dog whose nervous system is already strained. Create quiet. Reduce chaos. Familiar smells, familiar voices, familiar textures. Give them a world that asks as little of them as possible. Let them tell you when. One of the most painful and most important aspects of companion animal care at end of life is recognizing when the dog is communicating that they are ready. Consistent withdrawal from food and water, cessation of response to things they once loved, a particular kind of stillness that is different from rest, these are the signals. Not every dog sends them clearly, but many do. And honoring those signals, as heartbreaking as it is the final act of listening in a relationship built on it. Your dog has spent their entire life learning your language, your moods, your routines, your footsteps on the stairs, the specific way you call their name when you're happy versus when you're tired. They have studied you with more devotion and more attention than almost anyone else in your life. In their final days, they are still communicating, still reading you, still orienting toward you in whatever way their body allows. The long look, the slow press of their body against yours, the stillness that is not absence but a quieter form of presence. These are not nothing. These are everything they have left to give, and they are giving it to you. If you are in this right now, I am so sorry, and I hope this helped you feel a little less alone in trying to understand what your dog is telling you.